Good day to whoever's watching this right now. I would like to apologize first for the quality of the recording because of some technical issues. So I will begin with starting now. I will be talking about Paul Grice's cooperative principle and implicature. Uh, let's begin. Well, so first of all, what is cooperative principle? Well, as first of all, as human beings, we are social beings, and when we talk, we usually talk with each other. But Paul Grice, an English language philosopher, argues that speakers intend to be cooperative when they talk. For Grice, cooperative means that the speaker knows that each utterance is a potential interference in the personal rights, autonomy, and wishes of the other. That is why we have to shape our utterance in a certain way. Grice formulated the principle of cooperation that underlies conversation. Those There are four of those, or are also called maxims of cooperation. So there are four kind of maxims. There's maxims of quantity, quality, relation, and manner. Uh, and we'll begin with quantity maxims of quantity. They are For maximum of quantity, we have to be as informed as required. No more, no less. That means we have no extra information and no less information. Just a balanced amount, essentially. So as you can see from the example here, that A said, well, what did you have for breakfast this morning? B replied with, I had some toast and jam. But if you look at the red text, B clearly violates the maximum of quantity for sharing too much information. As you can see, I had some toast and jam with a side of yogurt and delightful orange juice. Like A is not, uh, A doesn't want to know those extra information. So let's move on with quality. Maximum of quality. As a speaker, we have to tell the truth or something that is provable by adequate evidence. As you can see from the dialogue, A is asking B, well, excuse me, where's the nearest convenience store? B reply with, I think there's one around the corner, but I'm not from these parts. As you can see, this that B is telling the truth, backed up by evidence that he's trying to tell the truth, but he can't really give 100% accurate information because he's not around from this part. Like that is evidence. And then moving on to maximum of relation, as you can see, that our response needs to be relevant to the topic of discussion. As you can see from the two examples here, A is saying that I'm out of petrol, and then B reply with, there's a gas station around the corner, which is relevant because they are out of his A is out of gas. And then if you look at the second example, A asks, where's Bill, and B replied with, I saw his yellow Volkswagen outside Sue's house, and that is relevant as well towards the conversation because B is telling A where Bill is by mentioning his yellow Volkswagen. Then moving to maximum of manner. In maximum of manner, we have to avoid ambiguity and obscurity. We should be direct and straightforward. As you can see from the example, what are you baking? I am baking chicken, beef, and fish. As you can see, that's direct and straightforward answer. But if you look at the second example, where I am baking things of flesh, that is very ambiguous, which violates the maximum of manner. Now, I would like to talk about flouting maxim. They're essentially you violating maxims purposely. The word implies that the speaker is violating maxim in a very obvious way. It is not meant to be the result of confusion or anything. The speaker is intentionally violating them. As you can see from the example, they are A is saying Terence in Turkey isn't a professor, but B is purposely saying that London's in Armenia, and they're violating the maximum of quality because if you know geography, that Tehran is not in Turkey, it is in Iran, and London is in England, not Armenia. That's a little bit geography there. And then moving on to the second dialogue. What can you tell me about my son's school performance? Your son's always well dressed and he is never late for class. And that this dialogue violates maxim of quantity. And moving on, I'll will briefly explain about implicature. Implicature den- denotes the act of meaning or implying one thing by saying something else. Implicature can be determined by sentences meaning or by conversational context and can be conventional or unconventional. Figures of speech such as metaphor and irony provides familiar examples that we'll be looking at shortly. The opposite of implicature are explicature, where you say things directly or explicitly. So as you can see in the example here, you can see a conversation between Chris and Shannon. Chris asks Shannon, "Are you going to Paul's party?" Shannon replied with, "I have to work." As you can see here, Shannon meant that she is not going to Paul's party by saying she has to work. She did not say that she's not going to Paul's party. So this is one of the example. And then if you look at the second example, Carla and Dawn are talking to each other. Carla said, "How's the weather over there?" Oh, and then Dawn said, "Oh, the weathers are pretty lovely." And what what's being implicated here that Dawn is saying that the weather over there where he's at is really bad because he said this in a bit of irony. And then that's it for my presentation. Thank you for watching. And if I did say anything, make any mistakes, please do let me know. And the reference will be in the Google Drive file if you like to look at it. So thank you.